Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I don't know how to move this little thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, if you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to drop them in the chat and I will try and answer them as best as I can. Okay, so this is a training on more so like how to stay on brand, how to create an aesthetic Instagram, and I'm gonna go through like taking pictures and then editing and then posting. So just all of those like main steps and how you can take each of those and make sure that in each step you are creating an aesthetic Instagram. So if you have any questions, like if you can think of something off the top of your mind immediately, feel free to drop it in the chat, or if you have any questions along the way, feel free to drop it in the chat. Okay, let me, also, for some reason I can't see anybody, so hopefully you guys can hear and see me. Okay, so the first thing with creating your brand is trying to figure out what kind of like makes you you. So what do you want your color scheme to be like? Are you more of like a city person? Are you more of a nature person? Do you want more of like a lifestyle, a more of like a relaxed, like everyday life kind of sharing thing? Or are you wanting more of like a styled brand where like you like all of your outfits are styled and you're kind of like, I don't know, being more picky about what you're putting on your Instagram? Are your shots going to be shot on camera? Or are you going to shoot them on your iPhone? Are you going to do fashion? Or like I said, you could do fashion or lifestyle or styled. There's a lot of different options. And obviously, like I can't decide that for you, but it's something that you maybe need to sit down and be like, okay, like this is what makes me me. Like I love the like light, bright color scheme, or I love like the dark, moody color scheme, or I love oranges. And it's kind of like going through, maybe you can go through your favorite influencers on Instagram and be like, hey, I love their aesthetic. What are they doing? And how can I kind of like incorporate that into my life? For me personally, this is my feed. I love light and bright and neutrals. Like my closet is just full of neutral colors. And so that's what I obviously have incorporated into my feed. And that kind of like is what makes me me. Like my friends the other day, it was my birthday, and they're like, yeah, I was shopping in the store and it was hard to find something for you because all you wear is neutrals. And I was like, yep, that's me. Like, and that's what people know me for, is that I have like a neutral closet. Everything in my house is like very neutral. All my decorations are very neutral colored. So it's kind of like you don't have to incorporate it into every aspect of your life, but kind of like figuring out what makes you who you are. Okay, so I just brought up some feeds that I follow on Instagram. There's 4 different ones in here. Sorry, they like kind of like are all mushed together. But these are just 4 different feeds. So you have like the more orangey feed over here, and then you have like the more like Tezza's more like natural / styled shoots. She kind of incorporates both. And then Leah over here, she is more of like the adventure side of things, more nature, and her feed is more of like a light and bright feed. And so it's just kind of like figuring out what you want with your feed. If you want it more dark and moody, if you want it more light and bright, if you want it more nature, if you want it more city, it's just like figuring out what you want, and kind of like breaking it down. And you can totally combine different things. You don't have to just do like one thing. You don't have to just do nature. You can also incorporate city. So it's just kind of like figuring out what works best for you. Okay, so anytime before I go out to shoot, I always make sure that I have an inspo board. So I create mine through Instagram. So I just use like the little saved tab. And so anytime I see a photo I like, I just save it, and I have a little album on Instagram, and it's called Creative. Oh. Maybe.
City boy.
Okay. Sorry. Going back. So I just save it to an album, and mine is titled Creative. And so anytime I see a picture and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like I want to like recreate that, or that is really inspiring to me, I'll save it to a board. So these are pictures that are on my creative board right now. And that just kind of gives me an idea of like, okay, these are kind of different poses that I can do. These are different, like, I don't know what the word would be. I call them filler photos. So like this picture of the bed with the coffee on it, that's like a filler photo. That's what I call it. I don't know what you guys would call it. That's what I call it, is like a filler photo. So it's not like a picture of you, but it's a picture that will help like blend your Instagram, which will make more sense in just a second. But making sure that I have inspiration for like pictures of myself, pictures of hair, like I have this hair picture right here, different poses, different filler photos. So anything that I see like from people I follow on Instagram, or if you like are on your explore feed and you're like, oh my gosh, that's super cute, but you don't follow that person, just save it to your creative board. Or Pinterest. I have tons of pins on Pinterest, but I've just loved being on Instagram for some reason. I'm on Instagram a lot more, so I'm not taking the time to be on Pinterest. But making sure that you have an inspo board, so that way when you go out to shoot, or you're like, okay, today I'm gonna create because I look super cute, and then you're like, what do I take pictures of? I don't even have any poses. I don't have anything. So that will just help you to speed up the creative process as well. So making sure you have an inspo board. The next thing is look for what your feed needs. So what I mean by this is, on my feed personally, I am very, very picky. You don't have to be this way about your feed, but if I post like a close-up picture, for example, this picture right here, or the picture I posted on my birthday right here with my hands close to my face, I'm not going to post another close-up picture next to it. And the reason being is because it's going to make your feed look more cluttered. So it doesn't mean your feed's gonna look bad, but like me personally, I'm not gonna put up basically two selfies in a row. It's kind of just up to you to figure out like if that's something that you want to do. But anytime, so like say that I just posted that, also this will all make sense in a second too. Sorry. I'm like getting ahead of myself. There's this picture right here that I posted for my birthday, and it's like a closer up picture. So I posted this picture yesterday, and it's a farther away picture. And so that way it doesn't look as cluttered, because it's not just like my face, my face, my face. And these are pictures, these top 7 pictures up here are pictures that I haven't even posted. Those are pictures that I'm planning on posting. And there's an app that I use, which I'll talk about in just a second. But this is what I'm planning on posting. So you can see that this is like more of a close-up picture. This is more of a far away picture. This is like a filler picture. This one's like more of a cluttered picture. So I'm going to put it next to a picture that's like has like more of a white background, so that way it doesn't look as cluttered. So hopefully that makes sense, but it's kind of just like looking at your feed when you go out to shoot and you're like, okay, you know what, I just took like a few closer up shots, so when I go out to take pictures, I'm going to take some filler pictures, or I'm going to take some pictures of me like standing farther away on like a more like a blank wall or something like that. And it's, like I said, it's just kind of figuring out what works for you. Yeah, planning out your feed saves you a ton of time. So now for like the taking pictures aspect of it, here are just some of my tips. So number 1 is finding good lighting. Kessa asked me, she's on my team, she asked me, I was asking my girls last night what they wanted to hear from me about on this training, and she was talking about how she would take pictures outside and then she'd take pictures inside of her house, and she was struggling to like blend them on her feed. The best way that you can blend pictures on your feed is, if you're taking a picture inside, go near a window. The reason being is because that natural light is going to give you the same lighting scenario as if you did take it outside. And when you edit it, it'll edit similar to the pictures that you took outside. So make sure that you're going near a window. And then also, depending on the feed that you are wanting to like create, say that you are wanting to create something that's similar to my feed, that's light and bright. you're going to want to use a light background. So you're going to want to use something that's like white or something that's more of like a tannish color. And as you're using that kind of background near the window, which is good lighting, hopefully, if it's not good lighting, if it's like dark outside, it's obviously not going to help to move it to a window. But like right now, for example, it's very, very bright outside. And so if I took a white background, or my walls are pretty white in my house, if I just opened up a window and took a picture on a white background, it's going to blend with my feed a lot more than if I like had the blinds closed and I turned on the light. So for those of you who don't know a ton about photography, this is like a natural light when you open the window, and any lights that you turn on in your room are like full fluorescent lights. And when you edit it, it's going to put a yellow hue on your photo versus if you edited it with like, if you took a picture in front of natural light by the window, it's going to have like a more natural look to it when you edit it instead of that yellow hue, which if you do take a picture under the like a light that's turned on in your room, there are ways that you can edit it to look less yellow, but that's just like, I don't know, like a rule for me is like I never ever turn on the light in my room. I always, or I'm just gonna move to an open window, not an open window, like open blinds by a window. Let me check the chat really quick. Yeah. So finding good lighting, that's how I blend my feed. A lot of the pictures that are taken in my house, not a lot of them, every single picture that's taken in my house is by a window, or I've opened up a window and like brightened up the area. Next thing is finding a good backdrop. I went and bought these the other day for this call actually, and I've actually been needing them. So this was 88 cents at Walmart. It's like, I don't even know how thick it is. Maybe it says. I don't know how. It literally is just a foam board. And I bought 3 of them, and I'll show you why in just a second. But literally 88 cents, or you can just go buy like the poster boards. I think those are like 20 cents at the dollar store. I bought these at Walmart. This is a great backdrop, especially because it's not as flimsy as like a poster board. So you can like hold it up, or I don't know. There's just a lot of different things that you can do with it and use it like, I don't know, like a bottom and a top. The next thing is adding dimension to your photos. So adding props to your photos, and this doesn't just mean flat lay photos. Like, yes, adding props to your flat lay photos, but anytime that you're taking a picture of yourself, add stuff into it. Like you can use, I don't know if you guys have ever used pampas grass. You can use that in your photos. I used, wow, what did I just blank on? What it's like the glitter stuff on my face for my birthday photos. That's something that like adds dimension, adds something that's new to your photos. There are so many things around the house that you guys can add into your photos, whether that's hair clips or hair ties. There are decorations that you have in your house. I know that you could use them in your photos. You can walk outside, get some rocks or some leaves outside or some branches, add those into your photos. So adding dimension, not saying that you have to add dimension to every single one of your photos, but if you're like, okay, my feed looks very blah right now, like maybe you want to add some dimension into your photos. Okay, so this is what I was with these poster boards. This is what you can create, are awesome flat lay photos. So this is a girl that I follow on Instagram, and she's the one that kind of gave me this idea. Her little Instagram is at the top if you want to follow her, but she uses 3 of these foam boards, and she sets 1 up at the bottom and then 2 on the sides, and it just creates like basically like a mini little studio in your house, and it creates a great white background for your photos. And then you can add in, like she added in what even is that called, this little wrapping paper stuff to add dimension to her photos. She was like pouring in this one, and she added like another sheet of paper at the bottom to add dimension into this photo over here. She added those little Christmas trees. So that's something that's super, super easy and super, super cheap. And she did shoot those on a camera, but if you shoot it on a phone, it'll look just as good. The quality of like the definition won't look quite as good, but you can take amazing pictures on your phone. A lot of the pictures that I take of, actually probably 99% of the product pictures that I take are taken on my phone, and if you have good lighting and a good backdrop, it's going to turn out so amazing. So that's kind of just like an idea for product pictures. And then you could also set these up behind you as well. I know that I'm talking a lot about product pictures, but you could set this up behind you and take pictures of yourself as well. If you don't have walls in your house that are like the colors that you want them to be, you can set this kind of stuff up. Or I know that you can buy like paper to go in the backdrop of you. So those are just some options if you are wanting to shoot in your house. I put up like bed sheets. I have white bed sheets that I'll literally pin up on my wall, and that's a great backdrop. I'm sure you guys have bed sheets that are white that you could pin up on your wall. So those are kind of just ideas if you want to take more pictures of like yourself, or I don't know. I'm sure you guys have all seen like the little bed sheet like trend, I guess, that's been going around. People were taking pictures of them outside, but you can do it inside as well near a window. But that's like all of that. So go get a foam board, literally 88 cents. For staying on brand when you are taking pictures, it kind of just goes back to figuring out what works best for you. So for me personally, with my bright and light feed, I'm never going to take pictures on like an overcast day, for example, just because it's going to be darker outside. I probably could take pictures and still get them to turn out, but it's going to take me a lot more editing, and that's going to kind of waste my time. So I usually never shoot on an overcast day. I shoot when it's bright outside, like right now. But if you're wanting more of like a moody feed, it might be better for you to shoot when it is overcast, or when it's kind of, I don't know, like almost, I don't know, like at sunset time when it's getting a little bit darker. What the heck? Sorry, someone's unmuted. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's just figuring out what works best for you and the lighting scenario that works best for like the aesthetic that you're wanting. These are some helpful things to buy for taking pictures. So if you have a camera, buying a tripod for your camera so that you can take those self-timer pictures. If you have just a phone, then I can't tell who's unmuted. Hold on. If you are not muted, will you mute yourself, please? I can't figure out who is unmuted. Sorry, going back. Buy a camera, or not buy a camera. You can buy a camera if you want, but buy a tripod for your camera or a tripod for your phone so that you can take those self-timer pictures. Buy a DOP. This thing has honestly been life-changing. It's, I don't even know. Yeah, you can see it. So basically what it is it can stick onto any flat surface. So I can stick it to my mirror, and then you just like suction cups on, and then my phone actually clicks like right into the back of it, and then my phone can move like this, and it can move side to side. And so that's really, really nice for not only filming, but it's really nice for taking pictures. You could stick it to like your car and it's not going to harm anything. I stick it to my mirror. I stick it to my walls in my house are not very flat, so I can't stick it to my wall, but I stick it to the windows. So invest in this. It's like $25. Super nice. This is how I take all my reels. I take a lot of my story videos through this as well. Let me make sure. So if you just look up, actually, I think if you look up DOP on, if you just Google it, you should be able to find it. If you can't find it, let me know. They just changed the name of their company to, I think it's AYLO. So look that up on Instagram. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll give you like the little link. But it's super awesome. And then if you guys don't have a light ring, investing in a light ring is so awesome. For pictures, for videos, for tutorials. This is the light ring that I have. I also have a little mini light ring that connects. If you actually, we should all have that. If you went to Impact Week, you also have this little mini one that connects to your phone, which is really, really nice as well. So invest in a nice light ring so that you can get that bright lighting. Maybe not so much for pictures on your feed, but like anytime you're doing like an IGTV video or a reel or something like that, it might be nice to have. Perfect. Thank you for sending that. Okay, so editing. Like I said, finding what works best for you. I'm going to share what I personally use. So these are some apps. Teza, you can pay a yearly fee. I believe, don't quote me on this, that it's $19 if you just do like the photo version of it, but it's $40 if you do photo and video. I personally just use Teza for video, like putting an edit on my videos, because I use Lightroom for my like photo editing, but I know so many people who use Teza for their actual photos, and it's freaking awesome. If you follow Teza, she's literally the most bomb boss babe ever, and I absolutely love her presets. So highly recommend. That's also a tax write-off for you guys, so invest in your business. It's going to up your Instagram game. The next one is Visco. This used to be, I feel like this used to be a lot more popular. It might be coming back. I don't know. I used to use Visco a ton, but you can buy individual presets or you can buy them in a pack, which is really nice. And they don't cost that much money. They're like anywhere between like $3 to $5, and then you have them for forever, which is nice as well. I know that Visco does, I think they do video editing now too, but you have to pay for that. And then Lightroom, this is what I personally use. I love Lightroom because it gives you, I feel like, more tools to edit your pictures and edit like the coloring in your pictures and edit the lighting in your pictures, which is really, really nice that you have a lot more tools to fix your pictures if the lighting was wonky or if the colors are wonky. Wonky, that's a weird word. Now I'm saying that out loud. But Lightroom is free. Lightroom Mobile is free. If you try and get Lightroom like on your computer, you do have to pay $10 a month, which honestly, unless you're going to be a photographer, I would not recommend getting Lightroom on your computer just because you don't need it. I use Lightroom on my phone. I do all of my editing through my phone, and it's free. But you do have to either create your own preset or buy someone else's preset. And those can be anywhere between $1 up to hundreds of dollars. It just depends on whose presets you're wanting to buy. Oh wait, that's on the next slide. I do have a list of presets that like I would recommend, and that's on the next slide though. So these are other editing apps: PicsArt, Snapseed, and Colortone. PicsArt is awesome if you're wanting to like create more creative photos. It allows you to add stickers and backgrounds and like crop things out and add things in. It's really, really awesome. There's like even tutorials on there that like teach you how to do things. So that's like if you're really wanting to get creative, PicsArt is awesome. Snapseed is basically like Photoshop, but like as an app on your phone. It's free. It allows you to, I don't know, do so many things. It allows you like to take, what I use it for personally is if I'm taking a picture on a wall and say like there's a plug down at the bottom that I don't want in my picture, I can literally just like take out the plug and then it'll just look like it's a normal wall. So I use Snapseed for like little things like that, like taking out imperfections in my photos. But it's not something that like you really, really need. And then Colortone is just another editing app. You do have to pay for it. I would not recommend it over like Teza or Visco or Lightroom, but if it's something that you find that you vibe with, awesome, go try it out. So these are people's presets that I would recommend. Obviously, you go out and find what works for you. These are people that are big like influencers who sell their presets. Some of them are cheaper, some of them are more expensive. Some of them you buy one preset, some of them you can buy in a pack. You can kind of go through. So if you type in like any of these are all their Instagram handles. If you type them in, usually the link in their bio will have the preset, and then you can go in and you can see they usually have a before picture and then an after picture with the edit applied to it, so you can kind of see like what vibes with you. But if you even just type in their Instagram and you just look at their feed, their presets are going to make your feed similar to that. So if you like the way that someone's their feed is like light and bright, their presets are probably going to be more light and bright, so that might be great for you. If you don't vibe with any of these people, you can literally Google Lightroom presets. You can find some for like $0, $0 for free, or you can find some that are like $1, or you can look on Etsy. There's like packs that you can find on Etsy as well. So you don't have to like go out and buy something that's hundreds of dollars. I've used the same preset on my Instagram for 4 years now. And if you scroll back, you can see how much my Instagram has changed. Like I've used the same preset and my Instagram has changed so much over the last 4 years. So it really just goes to show that one preset, you can tweak it just a little bit and make it look so different. So if you find one preset that you like, just stick with that. You don't have to buy tons and tons of presets. I don't sell the preset that I use. I feel like I'm going to get asked that question. I don't even know how to go about selling it. And if I did, I probably wouldn't sell it, not because I don't want to share it, but just because I feel like there's better ones out there. So these people are who I would recommend personally. If you're wanting something that's like similar to my edit, I would recommend Mandy Nielsen. Her presets are awesome. I know a lot of influencers who use her presets. Okay, number 3 is posting. So lay it all out first. So I kind of talked about this earlier, but making sure that you have an app where you can kind of plan out your feed. I use Preview. I know that there are other people who use Planoly, I think is how you pronounce it. On Preview, I don't know, I can't speak for Planoly. I've never used Planoly, but on Preview, you can schedule your posts. So you can literally write a caption and be like, hey, I schedule it to post on this day on my Instagram. I have never done that personally because I just want to post whenever I want to post. But that could be something if you have a super busy schedule and you're just wanting it to like post on its own. That could be something that's really helpful for you. Or maybe if you forget to post, or I don't know. There's just a lot of different things that you could use with like the scheduling of it, which is really nice. But if you go into Preview, you can add as many photos as you want, and then you can rearrange them. So you can literally click it and you can drag it and move it around. So I always go in, anytime I take like new pictures at a photo shoot, I'll add them in and then I'll drag them around, figure out which ones will look best where. So like I said, these top 7 right here, these are pictures that I haven't posted on my feed yet, but honestly, like I don't know if I will post them in the order that they're in right now, because anytime I take new pictures, I'll kind of just like filter them in, just to kind of see what works best. And like I said, I never will put ones that are like too cluttered next to each other. I'll try and do like a close-up one next to one that's like farther away with like a lot of white space in the background. So just kind of like planning it out and seeing what looks best to your eye. Like for some people, you might look at my feed and be like, yeah, like that, for me personally, like I don't like the way that looks. That's totally fine. You have to figure out what works best like for you, what looks best for you in your own eyes. I'm not trying to tell you that like you have to make your feed look like mine at all. It's just figuring out what works best for you, and you don't even have to do it to this extent. I'm just giving you the tips that I have personally used. I think that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions for me about anything that I've shared, any of the products that I've shared, anything ever? Any questions? Yeah, Etsy has lots and lots of good ones. Anyone else have any questions? That's a good question. So I usually, let me go back actually. So I usually either take my photos with a tripod and like a self timer on my camera or my phone, or I have my husband take them. Let me see. So like this one I took on my iPhone. This one was a selfie. I just took that on my iPhone. This one I took on my iPhone. This one my husband took. This one was actually from a Monet meetup. That one was from a Monet meetup. So I would say majority of the ones that I take, I either have taken them or like set up a tripod with a timer on it, or my husband has taken them. I never usually have people take my photos. And in the past, my husband had literally no idea how to take photos. I've trained him to take decent photos now that are like actually in focus, but in the past I was like, no, like I don't even trust you to take my pictures. So I would just set it up on a timer and I would just literally just take them myself. And I just got comfortable enough like behind the camera that like if there were cars passing by or someone was coming, that like I don't even care anymore. I'm just like, you know what? I'm taking pictures for my Instagram feed. This is gonna help my business, so that's what I'm doing. My post order idea. What do you mean by that, Tavia? Yeah, so if your husband isn't a big fan, just grab a tripod and set it on a self timer. I do that literally all the time. That's how I've learned to take pictures, is literally because I was taking pictures of myself, and I'd set the timer and then I'd run and then I take the picture and I set the timer and then I run and I take the picture, which kind of sucks, but you know what? Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know what you mean by your question, Tavia, but if anyone else has any other questions, let me know. Maybe. Oh, how do I plan it? So anytime I take a close-up picture, like I said, I'll never post 2 close-up pictures in a row. I shouldn't say never. You guys are gonna like look at my feed and be like, well, you posted 2 close-up pictures right here. But usually I'll never post 2 close-up pictures in a row. And I don't like plan it, but like if I'm going out to take a photo, like I look cute one day, I'm gonna look at my feed and be like, okay, the last time that I posted, it was a close-up picture, so this time I'm gonna take like a more far away picture, like a full body shot of like my body, if that makes sense, instead of just like my face. With like the sitting down one, I try and have a variety of different poses. So like if I have taken like 4 standing up pictures in a row, I'll try and take like a kneeling down picture or a close up picture of my face or a sitting down picture. So just kind of like trying to keep like a variety in the way of posing and the way that I post. So some of them are more close up, some of them are farther away, and that just comes with practice. Honestly, it's not something that like the first time I went out to shoot, I was like, oh, I'm going to take a close-up picture and I'm going to take a farther away picture and I'm going to take one standing up and I'm going to take one sitting down. It's kind of something that comes with like experience, I guess, which is just something that comes with doing it. Messy, consistent action, obviously, that is like our motto in this business. That applies to taking photos also. It's just kind of the more that you do it, the more comfortable you'll be behind the camera and the more that you will think about like other poses. Even with product and adventure and craft, etc. Honestly, I don't think about that kind of stuff with like flat lays and like nature pictures. Anytime I'm taking like nature or flat lay pictures, I'm just taking them to take them, and if they end up fitting into my feed, awesome. If not, then I just won't post them, or I'll post them later on when they end up fitting into my feed. But I don't like think about like, oh, should I take a close-up one or should I take one farther away? When it comes to like product, adventure, that kind of stuff, I only think of that when I'm taking pictures of myself or like people who are with me. Hopefully that was helpful. I think that's everyone's question. So thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. If you guys have any other questions, like if you think of something or you can't find like a preset that I was talking about or something that I was talking about, feel free to message me on Instagram or over Telegram or whatever. I'd love to help you guys out. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day.